In some jurisdiction, strip clubs actually support anti-trafficking bill or anti-trafficking funding. In other words, the strip clubs are the ones who are paying for anti-trafficking training by some of the federal government, federal law enforcement, or even local law enforcement. So strip clubs present themselves to be as friends or supporter for the trafficking victims, but in actuality, especially if I'm talking about this particular jurisdiction, is that while the strip clubs are funding for anti-trafficking movement and the training for the for the law enforcement and for the nonprofit, is that there are a lot of sex trafficking or other criminal activities that are exploiting these survivors and the dancers in many ways. That these strip clubs are not being punished. They're just staying on the law enforcement radar solely because they began to fund the anti-trafficking movement, especially working in partnership with the national organizations. These strip clubs have funded this national organization and their initiatives in the local area. However, during this time, while strip clubs are funding for the anti-trafficking effort, they also are exploiting a lot of women and men for that matter. But none of these strip clubs were ever been indicted or arrested or even investigated solely because they're invested in these anti-trafficking movement. So what is the answer behind whether they're friends or enemy for the trafficking survivors? I don't think they're friends. These trainings were very ineffective. If the law enforcement at the time was getting close to the investigation of a strip club, really, the reason why the strip clubs were continuously committing these criminal activities is that the law enforcement wasn't able to do anything about it because they're depending on the strip clubs funding for the anti-trafficking effort. So I will say that strip clubs are not really supporters or friends of this traffic survivors. If anything, these anti-trafficking organizations should not have received any funding, period.